The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension as representatives from 12 alien species gathered for an emergency session. At the center of the circular chamber, Ambassador Vex of the reptilian scale-born empire stood before the holographic display showing star charts of the outer rim territories. The humans claim they have a war fleet, Vex announced, his forked tongue flicking with amusement. They demand we cease our expansion into their so-called protected systems or face military action. Laughter rippled through the assembly. The insectoid Queen Zara clicked her mandibles in what passed for humor among her species. These soft-skinned mammals think they can threaten us? They have 3 small colonies and a handful of cargo ships. Elder Krex, the ancient leader of the crystal-based luminar race, pulsed with dim blue light. Our intelligence reports show humanity has no military installations beyond basic planetary defense grids. They are bluffing. The Galactic Council had ruled the known galaxy for over 2,000 years. 12 powerful species had carved up star systems between them, following strict territorial agreements. When humanity stumbled into their first contact protocols 50 years ago, they were treated as a curiosity, a young species barely capable of interstellar travel. Humans had been granted 3 systems in the outer rim, far from valuable resources or strategic locations. The Council viewed them as harmless settlers, useful only for their unusual adaptability and their strange willingness to take risks other species avoided. But now, as the Council's expansion pressed toward human space, these newcomers dared to issue ultimatums. "Show them the surveillance data," ordered Chancellor Tor, the massive leader of the gas giant-dwelling Vorthan Collective. The hologram shifted to display grainy images of human settlements. Simple domed cities, basic mining operations, and small transport vessels moved between planets. Nothing suggested military capability beyond what a primitive civilization might possess for protection against pirates. "Their largest vessel is barely the size of our scout ships," observed Captain Rex of the militaristic Blade clans. "We could crush their entire civilization with a single battle group." Ambassador Vex nodded. The humans spoke of ancient protocols and sleeping fleets. They claimed their ancestors prepared for this day. Pure fantasy, obviously. The Council had seen this before. Young species often invented mythical protectors or hidden strengths when faced with superior forces. The Trillans had claimed their planet-destroying weapons. The Nethrans insisted they had allies from other dimensions. All proved to be desperate lies when pressed. What exactly did the human delegation say? Asked Queen Zara, her compound eyes glittering with predatory interest. Vex consulted his datapad. "They warned us that humanity's true nature has been hidden. Something about a warrior heritage and fleets that sleep between the stars. Their ambassador, a male called Jack, claimed we had 10 standard days to withdraw from the disputed systems." More laughter filled the chamber. The idea that humans possessed hidden military might struck the assembled aliens as absurd. They had studied human history through intercepted communications and cultural exchanges. Humans appeared to be traders and explorers interested in peaceful expansion and scientific discovery. 10 days, mused Elder Krex. How generous of them. Chancellor Tor's voice boomed through the chamber. "We will respond to this threat as we have all others. Admiral Gorth, prepare the 3rd Fleet for a demonstration. Destroy one of their outer colonies. Make it clear what happens to species that overreach." Admiral Gorth of the Scale-born military straightened his battle-scarred frame. "It shall be done, Chancellor." "Shall we offer them terms of surrender first?" "No," Vex interjected. "Let them learn through fire. After we break their spirit, they will accept client status under our protection. Their colonies have rare mineral deposits that would serve the Empire well." The Council voted unanimously. Humanity's bluff would be called with overwhelming force. The 3rd Fleet, consisting of 47 warships, including 3 dreadnoughts, would jump to human space and deliver a crushing blow. As the session concluded, the alien representatives dispersed to their quarters, confident in their decision. None noticed the small monitoring device attached to the chamber's main console, a device that had been transmitting everything to a relay station in neutral space. The human delegation had departed the council station 3 days earlier, but they had not left empty-handed. Ambassador Jack's parting words echoed in the surveillance recording. "We tried diplomacy first. Remember that." In the depths of space, far beyond the Council's sensor networks, ancient systems began to stir. Signals that had waited decades started, pulsing across the galaxy. Hidden beacons activated in forgotten corners of space. The message was simple and had been prepared long ago, that children are threatened. It is time to wake up. The Galactic Council slept peacefully that night, unaware that humanity's true nature was about to reveal itself. Admiral Gorth stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's Edge, watching the hyperspace jump calculations finalize on the main display. Around him, the Third Fleet prepared for what should be a simple intimidation mission. 47 ships of various classes hung in formation, their weapons powered down but ready. "Jump in 30 seconds, announced Navigation Officer Pike, his scaled fingers dancing across the control interface. "Target system. Sol 3 colony designated New Hope." The Admiral nodded, his battle-scarred jaw set in grim satisfaction. This would be his easiest victory yet. The intelligence reports showed New Hope as a simple agricultural colony with maybe 50,000 humans. One bombardment from orbit would demonstrate the Council's power to the entire human species. "All ships report ready, Admiral," called Communications Officer Vale from her station. "The humans have not responded to our approach warnings. They probably do not even have proper sensors to detect us," Gorth replied. "Primitive species rarely invest in early warning systems." The stars elongated and snapped back to normal as the fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the New Hope system. Immediately, sensor alarms began chiming across the bridge. "Admiral," Pike's voice carried confusion, "I'm reading energy signatures throughout the system, large ones." Gorth frowned, moving to the sensor station. The display showed New Hope's star surrounded by the usual planetary bodies, but something was wrong. Massive objects hung in the outer system, too regular to be asteroids, too large to be ships as he understood them. "Magnify grid 77 Alpha," he ordered. The main screen focused on one of the objects, and a chill ran down Gorth's spine. It was clearly artificial, a geometric structure over 12 kilometers long, bristling with weapon ports and sensor arrays. Its hull showed signs of age, but remained intact, as if it had been waiting in the cold of space for decades. "Sir," Vale called out, her voice tight with worry, "I've got 43 similar contacts throughout the system. They're all powering up." "Impossible," Gorth muttered. "Where did they come from? Our intelligence showed nothing like this." Pike worked frantically at his controls. "Admiral, these ships, they're not showing up on our identification databases. The energy signatures are unlike anything in Council records." More alarms sounded as additional contacts appeared on sensors. Smaller vessels, still massive by Council standards, emerged from behind planets and moons. They had been hiding, waiting, using the system's own bodies as cover. "How many ships are we looking at?" Gorth demanded. "Over 200 confirmed contacts, sir, and more are still appearing." The Admiral stared at the tactical display in growing disbelief. His fleet of 47 ships suddenly seemed very small. Each of the unknown vessels outmassed his largest dreadnought by a significant margin. "Get me a communication channel to the lead vessel," he ordered. "We need to establish contact before the situation escalates." "Sir," Vale reported, "I'm receiving." A transmission from the planet's surface. It's the human colony. Put it through. A weathered human face appeared on the communication screen. The man wore simple clothes and had the look of a farmer, but his eyes held something Gorth had never seen in humans before: complete confidence. "This is Colony Director Tom of New Hope," the human said calmly. "Admiral Gorth, I presume? We've been expecting you." "Expecting us?" Gorth struggled to maintain his composure. "What are those ships?" "Our intelligence indicated you had no military capability." Tom smiled, and the expression sent another chill through the Admiral. "That's because you're looking in the wrong places, Admiral. Those ships have been here longer than your intelligence network has existed. They're not ours. They're our ancestors." "That's impossible. No species maintains functional fleets for centuries without—" "Without what? Without your knowledge?" Tom interrupted. "Admiral, humanity spread across this galaxy long before the Council existed. What you know as human space is just where we chose to settle openly. The real question is, why do you think we chose systems so far from valuable? Resources?" The tactical display updated again. More contacts were appearing, not just in this system, but throughout human space. Pike's hands shook as he read the numbers. "Admiral," he whispered, "Fleet Command is reporting similar contacts in all three. Human systems, hundreds of ships in each location." Tom's voice continued from the speakers. "You have 6 hours to withdraw from all human territories, Admiral. After that, our ancestors' standing orders take effect." They were very specific about protecting their descendants. "This is some kind of trick," Gorth snarled. "Holograms or—" His words died as one of the ancient ships fired a single beam across space. It struck an asteroid 50 kilometers wide, and the massive rock simply ceased to exist, not shattered, not vaporized, but completely erased from existence. Tom's expression never changed. 5 hours and 59 minutes, Admiral. I suggest you use them wisely." Asterisk news of Admiral Gorth's discovery spread through the Galactic Council faster than wildfire. Emergency sessions convened across every major council world as leaders struggled to comprehend what their scouts were reporting. In the space of 6 hours, humanity had revealed a fleet that dwarfed the combined naval power of all 12 council species. Paced the length of his command chamber aboard the mobile fortress Council's will, his massive form trembling with barely contained rage. Around him, his senior advisors huddled over holographic displays showing fleet positions throughout human space. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Where were these ships hiding? How did our intelligence networks miss fleets of this magnitude?" Defense Coordinator Lin, a tall humanoid from the Aquatic Depths Alliance, consulted her data tablet. "Sir, preliminary analysis suggests these vessels have been in position for at least 70 years. They were powered down to minimal levels, using the background radiation of their respective stars to mask their signatures." 70 years, Tor repeated, "before first contact. Before we knew humans existed." Elder Krex's crystalline form pulsed with worried light patterns. "The implications are staggering. If humans deployed these fleets decades ago, their civilization is far older and more advanced than we believed." Admiral Nash of the Void Hunters, the Council's most experienced military commander, studied the tactical reports with growing concern. "These aren't just hidden ships," she announced. "Look at their positioning. Every vessel is placed for maximum tactical advantage. This is the work of strategic minds that understand warfare on a galactic scale." The main display showed the current situation across human space. In each of the 3 human systems, massive fleets had revealed themselves, forming defensive formations around colonies that had seemed helpless just days before. But more disturbing were the reports coming from other sectors. "Sir," Lin continued, Our long-range sensors are picking up similar energy signatures in 17 other systems across the galaxy. Systems we thought were uninhabited. 17 systems? Queen Zara's mandibles clicked nervously. If each contains a fleet of this size. The math was simple and terrifying. Humanity potentially commanded over 3,000 warships, each more advanced than anything in the Council's arsenal. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted overnight. We need to contact Admiral Gorth, Tor decided. What's his current status? Communications Officer Dane worked at his console before responding with obvious unease. Sir, the Third Fleet is maintaining position at the edge of the New Hope system. Admiral Gorth reports that the human vessels are allowing his ships to leave, but any approach toward the inner system results in weapon locks from multiple contacts. They're not attacking? Krex asked, his confusion evident in his shifting light patterns. No, sir. The humans appear to be maintaining defensive postures only. But Admiral Gorth also reports that their weapons technology is unlike anything we've encountered. The demonstration they provided. Our scientists can't explain how they completely erased matter without any residual energy signature. Chancellor Tor stopped pacing. Put me through to the human colony. I want to speak with this Director Tom directly. The main screen shifted to show the same weathered human face that had confronted Admiral Gorth. Tom sat in what appeared to be a simple office, but his demeanor remained unsettlingly calm. Chancellor Tor, Tom said before the Vorthan leader could speak. I wondered when you'd call. What is the meaning of this deception? Tor demanded. Your species presented itself as primitive traders and explorers. You've been lying to the Council for 50 years. Tom leaned back in his chair. We never lied, Chancellor. We told you exactly what we were, humans seeking peaceful expansion. What we didn't tell you was what our ancestors left behind to protect us. Your ancestors? The first wave of human expansion happened over 2 centuries ago, Tom explained. They encountered hostile species before, civilizations that viewed newcomers as threats to be eliminated, so they prepared. Every colony ship that left Earth was accompanied by guardian fleets with standing orders. Remain hidden until the children are threatened. Admiral Nash studied the tactical displays more carefully. Those ship designs, they're human, but they're ancient. This technology is generations ahead of what you've shown us. Tom nodded. Our ancestors were very good at warfare, Admiral. They had to be. But their children, us, chose a different path. We wanted to build, to explore, to trade. The Guardian fleets were insurance, nothing more. Until now, Chancellor Tor said grimly. Until now, Tom agreed. You've forced. Used to wake them up. And I have to tell you, Chancellor, they're not happy about it. These ships have been waiting 70 years for someone to threaten their descendants. They're quite eager to fulfill their purpose. On the tactical display, more contacts appeared as additional Guardian fleets powered up across the galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity had been ready for this moment long before the Galactic Council even knew they existed. The children were no longer alone. Asterisk. Deep within the bridge of the ancient vessel Terra's legacy, systems that had slumbered for 7 decades hung to life. Captain Ellis, awakened from stasis just 12 hours earlier, stood before the command chair his grandfather had once occupied. At 90 years old, he was among the youngest of the Guardian fleet commanders. Most had been selected from Earth's military elite over a century ago. Ship status report, he ordered, his voice carrying the authority of decades spent in preparation for this moment. All systems operational, Captain, replied his first officer, Kate, whose own awakening from stasis showed in the slight stiffness of her movements. Weapons grid at full power, defensive screens active. The entire Guardian Fleet 7 is responding. To Protocol Omega. Ellis nodded, studying the tactical display that showed his fleet's position in the New Hope system. 43 Guardian vessels formed a protective wall between Admiral Gorth's forces and the human colony. Each ship represented technology that the Council couldn't begin to understand. "Communications, get me a channel to Guardian Command," he ordered. The main screen shifted to show the interior of an even larger vessel. Admiral Ryan, the overall commander of humanity's Guardian forces, appeared on screen. At 120 years old, he was one of the original volunteers who had left Earth with the first colony ships. "Ellis," Ryan's weathered face showed. "Grim satisfaction. Good to see you awake. How's your ship responding?" "Like she was built yesterday, sir. Terra's legacy is ready for whatever comes next." "Good. I've got reports from all 17 Guardian fleets. Over 3,000 ships. Total, all operational. The Council is starting to understand what they've stumbled into." Ellis pulled up the strategic overview. Guardian fleets had revealed themselves across human space and beyond, forming a protective network that had been planned generations ago. Each fleet was positioned to defend not just human colonies, but the trade routes and strategic positions that would be crucial in any galactic conflict. "Sir, what are our orders regarding the Council forces?" Admiral Ryan's expression hardened. "The same orders we've carried for 70 years, Captain. Protect children. If the Council withdraws from human space and agrees to our territorial demands, we return to sleep. If they persist in their expansion, ... double quotes. He didn't need to finish the sentence. "Understood, sir? Any word from the colonies?" Director Tom and the other colonial leaders are handling diplomatic contact. They're hoping for a peaceful resolution, but they've authorized Guardian Protocol activation. The decision is ultimately ours. The Guardian Protocol was simple in concept but devastating in execution. If humanity's colonies were threatened, the Guardian fleets would emerge from hiding and secure not just human space, but any strategic positions necessary to ensure long-term survival. This included resource-rich systems, key trade routes, and potential staging areas for future attacks. "Captain," Kate called from the tactical station, "I'm reading movement from the Council fleet. Admiral Gorth is repositioning his ships." Ellis turned to study the display. The Council forces were spreading out, trying to get better sensor readings on the Guardian vessels. It was a reasonable tactical move, but also a potentially dangerous one. "They're probing our defenses," Ellis observed, "trying to determine our capabilities. Should we respond?" Ellis considered the situation carefully. The Guardian Protocol included specific rules of engagement, refined over decades of strategic planning. Maintain defensive positions, but lock weapons on any ship that approaches within 50,000 kilometers of the colony. If they want to test us, they'll learn exactly what our ancestors built. Meanwhile, aboard Admiral Gorth's flagship, the Scale-born commander was discovering just how outmatched his forces were. Every scan of the human vessels revealed technology that shouldn't exist. Their hulls were composed of materials that absorbed sensor beams. Their weapons showed energy outputs that exceeded theoretical maximums. Their defensive systems were completely unlike anything in Council databases. "Sir," Navigation Officer Pike reported with obvious worry, "I've completed the tactical analysis. Each of those human ships could engage our entire fleet simultaneously." Admiral Gorth stared at the impossible numbers on his screen. "That can't be accurate." "I've run the calculation 17 times, sir. Their smallest vessels outgun our dreadnoughts. Their largest ... Pike swallowed hard. Their largest could probably destroy our entire homeworld." The Admiral closed his eyes, finally understanding the magnitude of humanity's deception. They hadn't been hiding their weakness. They had been hiding their strength. The question now, whether the Council would be wise enough to recognize when they had been outmaneuvered. "Get me a channel to Chancellor Tor," Gorth ordered. He needs to know what we're really facing out here. In the depths of space, Guardian fleets that had waited generations for this moment continued their silent vigil, ready to protect humanity's children at any cost. Asterisk. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in the most secure chamber, aboard the Mobile Fortress Council's will. For the first time in 2,000 years, the 12 species found themselves facing a threat they couldn't simply crush through superior numbers or ancient alliances. Chancellor Tor stood before the assembled representatives, his massive form somehow diminished by the weight of the situation. The holographic displays surrounding the chamber showed updated fleet positions across the galaxy, humanity's guardian. Vessels now controlled key strategic points that the Council had never even realized were important. The situation has changed, Tor announced unnecessarily. Admiral Gorth's report confirms what we feared. Each human guardian vessel possesses weapons and defensive capabilities that exceed our most advanced technology. Conservative estimates suggest they could defeat our combined fleets. Elder Krex pulsed with dim, worried light. How do we proceed? Our expansion into human space has been permanently blocked. But more concerning, they now control 17 additional systems across the galaxy. Ambassador Vex consulted his datapad with trembling claws. Those systems contain crucial hyperspace nexuses and resource deposits we've been planning to claim for decades. If humanity controls them, they control the future expansion of every species in this chamber, finished Admiral Nash grimly. This isn't just about their 3 colony systems anymore. They've positioned themselves to dictate galactic politics. Queen Zara's mandibles clicked with agitation. We must demand they withdraw from the disputed systems immediately. The Council cannot appear weak. And if they refuse? Asked Captain Rex of the Blade clans. Our intelligence suggests they have weapons that can erase matter itself. What military response could we possibly mount? The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For 2 millennia, the Galactic Council had maintained order through strength. They were the apex predators of known space, dividing resources and territory among themselves, while younger species were granted small, peripheral systems. Now, a species they had dismissed as primitive colonists had revealed the power to reshape the galactic order entirely. Chancellor Tor activated the main communication screen. Get me Director Tom from New Hope Colony. The familiar weathered face appeared, but now the other council members saw what Admiral Gorth had discovered. The complete confidence of someone who held all the strategic advantages. Chancellor, Tom said pleasantly, I trust Admiral Gorth has briefed you on our capabilities? Your deception has been noted, Tor replied stiffly. The Council demands an explanation for your occupation of 17 neutral systems. Tom raised an eyebrow. Neutral? Chancellor, those systems were claimed by Guardian fleets 70 years ago. We've simply been waiting for the right moment to make our presence known. And as for deception, ... he shrugged. We never hid anything. We told you we were humans seeking peaceful expansion. You assumed that meant we were weak. What do you want? Elder Krex asked, his crystalline form flickering with nervous energy. What we've always wanted, Tom replied. Peaceful coexistence. But the terms have changed. The Council's expansion into human space stops immediately. The 17 systems under Guardian fleet protection are now officially human territory. In exchange, we're prepared to offer something the Council has never possessed. Which is, Tom smiled, protection. Our Guardian fleets don't just defend human interests, Chancellor. They defend peace. Any species that commits to non-aggressive expansion and fair trade agreements will find themselves under humanity's protection from external threats. The implications were staggering. Queen Zara leaned forward. You're offering to protect Council members from each other? Among other things. The galaxy is larger than just our 12 species plus humanity. There are threats out there that none of us have encountered yet. Our ancestors prepared for more than just territorial disputes. Admiral Nash studied the strategic displays with new understanding. You're not just revealing hidden fleets. You're revealing a complete defense network spanning half the galaxy. Our ancestors were thorough, Tom agreed. They knew that true. Security comes from strength, but also from cooperation. The Council can choose to adapt to the new reality, or you can waste resources fighting a war you cannot win. Chancellor Tor exchanged glances with the other representatives. The mathematics were simple and unavoidable. Humanity had positioned themselves as the dominant military power in the galaxy, while maintaining the appearance of peaceful colonists. They had outmaneuvered the Council completely. "What are your specific terms?" Tor asked finally. "Simple. The Council recognizes human sovereignty over our current territories, including the 17 Guardian systems. In return, we offer mutual defense agreements and technology sharing for peaceful purposes. No more expansion through conquest. No more treatment of younger species as disposable resources." The chamber buzzed with whispered conversations as the Council members realized they were witnessing the end of one galactic age and the beginning of another. The children had grown up, and they were stronger than their elders had ever imagined. The myth of humanity's war fleet was no longer a myth. It was the new reality that would reshape the galaxy forever. Asterisk.